Hello Leena, welcome to our channel, and we are so happy and humbled to have you here. Supermommithali.com is a website, and we have a video wing here as well. And we believe in one philosophy that all the moms are super moms, and you are a super mom, you are a super woman, you are a super entrepreneur, and there are so many feathers in your hat. And so please tell our audience something more about you that we don't know actually.
I don't know if I'd call myself a super mom. I'd have to ask my son that. I do remember recently when we were signing a sort of business arrangement, and he'd come with me. All he said is, "Thanks, Mom, for being so busy because you didn't overparent me." So I said, "Okay, that's a nice spin on saying I didn't have enough time." Yeah, I think all moms do the best that they possibly can with the knowledge that they know, and obviously we all come to everything that we do with our own baggage, our own experiences, good, bad, or otherwise. And yeah, I just think all of us just kind of do what we can.
Okay. And the latest book that came out, I think 2 months back, is
Drama Teen.
Drama Teen. It's based on teenagers
and all the drama, of having teenagers in a house.
Yeah. So tell us something more about the book.
So it was interesting. It sort of started, I did my first book, which is Who Do You Think You're Kidding, which is a general sort of parenting book. And I was taking an impromptu sort of workshop with kids in Bhopal. And they were slightly older kids. They were entering their teenage years, and they were kind of all, and because it was impromptu and I hadn't planned anything, I said, look, let me start asking you guys questions, and then let me see if I can answer them, like as a academic counselor, mother myself.
Right.
And a lot of their angst and issues were around the way they were being parented. And kids kind of at that stage, and I call them the terrible T's, the terrible twos and the terrible teens, because your brain's sort of going through a similar process, and it's evolutionary, and it's supposed to be, which is at the age of 2 now, suddenly the child sees himself as separate from the mother. And now he's trying to forge his own identity, which means tantrums.
Yes.
And all the other things that terrible twos do. And the teenage brain is going through a similar thing, right? It's looking for identity, and it's looking for independence, and it's looking for all those sorts of things, which again are what it's supposed to go through from an evolutionary perspective, because teenagers are supposed to leave the nest. Right. So as these kids started asking me questions, I started putting a parent hat on and giving them the parent perspective that the parent is not necessarily trying to control you, but the parent is trying to make sure you're safe. So I said, look, I found very easy ways around it with my son, which you could experiment with your parents. For instance, I said to Drish, my purpose is not to control you, my purpose is to know where you are. Yeah. Because should anything happen, I don't have a starting point. Yeah. So I said, as long as you have your phone on and I know where you are, it's not like I don't trust you. Yeah. And obviously being a counselor and a teacher, sort of kept the relationship with my son and me always at a very honest level. So Drish would tell me when he tried smoking, he would tell me when he's had had a drink. So we kept, most kids tell lies because they're scared. Yeah. So if you can make yourself a safe harbor to say, I'm not going to judge you when you come to me and tell me something, and I'm going to leave the final decision to you, but you can always use me as a sounding board.
So I always believe that important part of parenting is looking at your childhood. I mean, I always think how I was, or how I would have felt if my mom had said that way, and I react that way. So is that, that's what you're saying, right? Looking at yourself and then reacting.
So firstly, I always tell mums, don't react,
Okay.
respond.
Yeah.
Yeah. So a big difference. When you respond, you come from a calm place, centered place. When you react, usually coming from fear or something else that's not so great. I think it's a little bit more complicated than me thinking about my childhood and then doing this. I've sort of, teenagers are teenagers, and I think as a parent, firstly, if you list what your top values are, so if I had to choose between my son being highly compassionate and smoking to being like an absolute entitled brat and not smoking, I would pick this one, because those things are very high on my list of values.
Yeah, that's a very different way of looking at a certain addiction which is perceived very negatively in the society.
So no one's going to have this pin-up teenager that's, oh wow, he goes to school and he's academically brilliant, and then he comes home and he plays tennis and he does this and he does that, and wow, and then he goes and volunteers at the old people's home, and there is no such thing. I'd be surprised to see it in movies as well, but there is no such thing. So I sort of, ever since Rish was young, I have very clear priorities as to what are high on my list of values that I would want my son to kind of imbibe.
So talking about, continuing this discussion and taking it further, talking about the education system, now that you are here, I cannot be like not ask you questions about the education. So I have a 3.5-year-old daughter, so now she'll go to junior KGs and senior KGs, and people have been asking us, oh, SSC or ICSE or IB, and frankly 3-4 years back I did not have any clue about all these things, but now I feel as a parent that a lot of people do judge us on, oh, you're sending your kid to an SSC, maybe you're not that well off, or IB, that means you are well off, and maybe ICSE or CBSE, everybody is confused.
So firstly, all the ICs and CBs and SSCs and all those things that you're talking about, they're examination bodies, right? So they're actually just they're all different styles of assessing a child. The real learning, the real guts of learning is not going to be tested by the examination system at all. And I would sense that you could be doing like 80% of your child's learning from being a mom, right? Like I tell parents that if you're a little creative, firstly you can turn every experience into a learning one, right? So if you go to the supermarket, you can have the printed names of, from Heinz to, so even at that age where kids are now sort of sight reading and helping you and picking up things and addition and subtraction and brands and labeling and looking at prices and all those things. They're just everywhere you go it's learning, right?
Everything from fruits to vegetables.
So I'm one of the few schools that if your kid's in my school and you say I want to take my kid on a holiday, I'll say fantastic, because they learn more from that experience and they will missing that 2 weeks in school versus that experience. Take that experience, and if there's something in maths or something that if a building block of learning is going to be spoiled, then I'd ask the teacher that make sure that your kid's up to date with that building block that's getting missed. And we'll ask the kid to do a project, of his travels. He has to keep a journal and he has to do something that he comes back and presents to the class. So I would not be concerned at all about which board. So we do curriculum for IGCSE, we do curriculum for CBSE, we do curriculum for ICSE. The only thing is we enhance it 500% in the sense that if one of them says, we need to teach mapping, the way we'll teach mapping, and it's completely integrated. So if they're doing Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, they'll map where cocoa beans are grown. Or if they're doing Harry Potter, they'll have to figure out where they think the setting is actually for the story, most likely in setting in the world. So there are things that you can do interrelated across disciplines. So if I were you as a mom, I'd just go in and firstly trust your gut. Go visit the schools and trust your intuition. It's a really unfortunate thing, but in India, and I don't want to like typecast because it's people, not just Indians, but a lot to do with Indians. We want what's not easily available, which could be a general marketing world thing as well, but what we have less access to suddenly becomes that much more desirable. If it's got an international tag, again it becomes that much more desirable. So we've got these mindsets. If all our friends are going somewhere, it becomes more desirable.
Yes.
Yeah. So we tend to have this whole herd where I'm not going to make an informed choice looking at what I value and then looking at the school.
I think so. Okay, so last few questions. A lot of people are now moving on to the homeschooling bit. What are your views on that? Usually.
And imagine the experiences you can share with your kids because you work.
Yeah.
Right? Other than if you were just at home and watching, they were at school and then you're waiting for them to come home, and what stimulating conversations are you going to have day after day if you yourself have not been stimulated mentally, emotionally, and in all those other ways? What are you going to give to your kids?
That's what I keep on telling all the moms. Yeah, that's one decision that they need to make. I know, when you have a small kid, it's difficult to step out.
In today's day,
but you have to make the decision.
Yeah, but one is in today's day, okay, till your kid starts kindergarten or whatever, there are always things you can pick up to do from home. If you say, okay, you feel that's important, but your kid sleeps in the afternoon and in the night, and there's stuff you can pick up and do from home.
Yes.
Or there's stuff that you can do half day or part time. There's all those options available. I would just say the minute you lose touch with the world outside in the work world, then it just gets more and more difficult to step back into.
Yeah.
And then you feel I've sacrificed this for my kids, and the kids will feel the burden of that forever. Trust me. So you don't want to be giving that burden to your kids.
It's very new in India.
Well, one of the things is depends on why you're doing it. I do believe that kids need to be with other kids.
Yeah.
I think some of the things that you learn on the playground, somebody says, I don't want my kid to be bullied, so I'm not going to send him to school. I said, well, he'll have to learn to overcome the bullying, because if he doesn't overcome it in his childhood, he's going to face it in his adulthood. Later, right? So there are things, so I would rather say, okay, I'm going to teach my kid how to deal with bullying than try and protect him from the bullying, because there's a world out there really, right? Yeah. So the more you protect your kids in one closed space, the more challenging it is. I would homeschool a child for who school is just no match at all. So if my child was intellectually far more advanced and he was going to be slotted in the same schooling system, I'd think about homeschooling, but I'd also think about how then am I going to have him have all the interaction time with kids and be bullied from time to time, and have those other things that are really important for kids to have as experiences. So, and also, I think we underestimate what homeschooling means, because if you're just going to hire a teacher and teach a kid at home, very challenging. It's just that she's now dealing with one kid instead of 24. And all the discussions, other interactions that happen won't happen, right? They're going to miss out on that. They're going to miss out on peer learning. They're going to miss out on, because no genius idea happens in isolation. You and I'll be talking, you will have an idea, I build on that, you build on that. Anything that's been invented or discovered has all been built on the back of somebody else's thought or idea or whatever. So I'd be careful about homeschooling.
And the last question is for all the moms, and generally after having kids, moms choose to be a homemaker or spending more time with kids, and somehow I mean, when we have a supermom community, and when I talk to all the moms, they generally think that, wow, how can Mitali, you do all these things, but we, after having a kid, were somehow wanting to be at home with our kid, not wanting to work. I mean, how can we encourage all the moms to be super moms and super entrepreneurs and super women, even at the work front?
So the first thing is, if you live life through your kid, you're going to do your kid a bigger disservice than service. So I think we underestimate the power of kids seeing their mom work. Firstly, if it's a girl, her own sense of what is possible, and in terms of her identity, not just being that of a wife, daughter, daughter-in-law, sister, that it can be a much larger life purpose that is directly connected to the self, is what your daughter will get when she sees you working. Right. What your son will get is a greater relationship when he does have a wife, and understanding those things. And also, most boys actually get this sense of work ethic from their mom, which is, So, I mean, I would say that my son has watched me have aspirations that were not bound by money, but were bound by a sense of wanting to accomplish something and shifting things, and I think that's helped him a lot. I think he's not stuck in the world of having physical possessions be his source of identity. Right. He does realize that for him to be really happy and feel fulfilled, he has to have causes.
A car, a Mercedes or a BMW or an iPhone doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter, but a cause and meeting a need that society has and fulfilling that need, and you being able to do it will give you far more sense of joy for a lot longer than any of the other things. So I think I've written an article, so if anyone wants to read my blog, where I've actually listed the benefits of working moms, and then you will not live your life through your kids, and therefore your kids will have their own aspirations and live life for themselves as well.
And I think they will be on the path of becoming a much more richer or a better individual.
And imagine the experiences you can share with your kids because you work. Right? Other than if you were just at home and watching, they were at school and then you're waiting for them to come home, and what stimulating conversations are you going to have day after day if you yourself have not been stimulated mentally, emotionally, and in all those other ways? What are you going to give to your kids?
That's what I keep on telling all the moms. That's one decision that they need to make. I know, when you have a small kid, it's difficult to step out.
Well, in today's day,
you have to make the decision.
Yeah, but one is in today's day, okay, till your kid starts kindergarten or whatever, there are always things you can pick up to do from home. If you say, you feel that's important, but your kid sleeps in the afternoon and in the night, and there's stuff you can pick up and do from home, or there's stuff that you can do half day, or part-time. There's all those options available. I would just say the minute you lose touch with the world outside in the work world, then it just gets more and more difficult to step back into. And then you feel I've sacrificed this for my kids, and the kids will feel the burden of that forever, trust me.
And I feel it's very important to step out early. So if the kid is 6 months old, stepping out when the kid is 6 months old is like conditioning him that mom is out from 9 to 5 and she will be back with you.
One of the schools, we're actually, I was just talking to my CEO and saying that we need to build all our schools into community centers. So we've just started a new Kangaroo Kids in Almeida Park, and what we've done is we've actually built a space for moms and grandmoms and grandparents. I shouldn't say grandmoms, I should say fathers, mothers, grandfathers, grandmothers. Because there's so much of give that a grandparent can have, not just for his own grandkid, but for all the grandkids in our schooling community. But even if you want that time with your kid, come and volunteer at the kids' school or do something that keeps you in touch with the workforce outside.
Great. So Leena, it was great talking to you. and we got a lot of positive vibes, motivation, knowledge, some spiritual gems from you. And thank you so much for being a part of our Supermom journey.
Loved it. Thank you.
Thank you so much.